Mikey P back on the Money Players podcast and special Sunday edition for Monmouth Park this week with everything going on Saturday, Saratoga, Del Mar, lots of things on the network. So Monmouth by itself on Sunday this week. And with me to talk a little Monmouth, Eric Solomon, who does such good work on InTheMoneyPodcast.com with the write-ups for Monmouth. Eric, how was your Haskell?
Not bad. It was kind of hard to judge, from being away from it, how to handle the different changing weather forecasts. So what wasn't heavily involved. It had a couple of dollars on the winner. I thought Baby Vino, it was an interesting horse. Of the local horses that have gone there in the last several years, I thought that one had a shot. Like the way that it's just kind of really started figuring things out since going to two turns back at the end of the Oaklawn meet. But otherwise, it's still, it was, even though the weather was not great, I think it was a really good day of racing. I think most of the races, with the exception of the turf sprint, really held together. It looks like they had another great crowd down there, even though it was less than ideal compared to last year, especially.
Yeah, you got a great price, big price, got a great ride there, and
beautiful ride by Vargas.
You'll never get that kind of price again on the winner, but great pick. And I thought a nice day at Monmouth. I tried the contest, ended up flaming out there in the middle part of the contest, but again, huge turnout there. Brian does a great job with his contest, and the next contest that we're looking forward to for Monmouth, $500 Whitney Day Monmouth Saratoga contest. So that comes up August 8th, and you can play it on track. And if you look, go to monmouthpark.com, go to that contest page, and you can see on-site players are get a 25% bonus on any cash prize won. So that's a huge incentive to go out to Monmouth. And it's a $500 contest, Eric. You have $250 for the entry fee, $250 for the bankroll, and some TVG, 4NJ bets, HPI players can sign up, and obviously express bet the day of. But these Monmouth contests continue to produce fantastic opportunities.
Yeah, this is always a really good one. Whitney Day, it's always a great card at Saratoga. Always some good, really good maiden races. Just really good races throughout the day. So always some good opportunities. I think if I remember correctly, without looking at the stake schedule, I think the Saratoga Derby is also on that card, which is usually a really good betting race as well. And then the local races at Monmouth, weekends, decent amount of turf racing, a lot of good opportunities there. So if you're in the area getting that bonus, it's certainly worth making the trip.
Yeah, of course, you have NAC seats, BCBC seats, and cash prizes. And everybody that gets in that contest is going to have a big chance to get into one of the bigger contests. So, of course, go to monmouthpark.com, go to the contest page for more information. Well, Eric, let's do some handicapping here for the Sunday card for Monmouth. And we don't have morning lines yet. We're going to do late pick four for Sunday, 2:51 Eastern time. Start on the grass, and we were talking offline. Weather seems to be a very nice forecast for this weekend, so it should be no issues. 5.5 here, and it's starters, optional claiming types going 5.5. You get the return of speed figures who sort of flopped last time in a listed stake, but I do think that maybe this should be a better spot.
Should be in terms of class level, but I am worried. I mean, speed figures has one way to go. He's got to be on the lead, and it's kind of the same thing with cold feet. And then you got a couple other horses that could be a part of that pace as well. Gianluca Be Lucky on the far outside. And then you've got the horse, the kind of total wild card horse with Fitz coming back off a long layoff. But that horse has shown speed in the past. I wouldn't be surprised. That one's a little keyed up coming back after over a year on the sidelines. I think this race sets up beautifully for Jataros. The 2 is 3 for 3 on this course. He had his number put up by DQ 2 back, but it's in really good form. Loves the course here. I think the distance is just right, and I think just gets that perfect trip. Just off the speed. Doesn't need to be forward. Terry Pompey is having a great meet here. 7 for 26. A lot of runners running big races. I think this horse just makes a ton of sense in this spot. So I'm even mostly on that one. Of the speed horses, speed figures certainly. He could just be faster and skip away and just outrun the horses from the outside post as they kind of lose a little bit of ground on that first bend. Certainly could wire this field. I'll probably back up there. And another horse I thought maybe as a deeper long shot here, Peeling Lad, showed absolutely nothing last time out at this level, but has some good races here. Was really good here last year. Might, if that speed, if they really go quick there, this is a horse that could be rolling late second time off the layoff for Perkins. So that's a deeper backup, but most of my tickets are going to go through Jataros in this race.
Yeah, I agree on the two. He was more of a B for me, but I do understand that one, and it's in good form. I mean, to win at Delaware over a yielding course, I do think is not easy to do, and he likes it here also. 3 wins in 5 starts for that one. I think about speed figures is, I mean, this is a way easier spot. I mean, look who we ran into: Governor Sam, Superquest, Coppola. I mean, went 20.7 to kick that early fraction off there on June the 21st. So should be a little bit much. And I like Rivera on him. I mean, he is a speed jockey. He's going to be on the front. It's just a matter of, can you forgive the last start? So I'd be the 1 and the 2. Also, I do think that one of those two win race number 5 to kick off the late pick 4 for Sunday at Monmouth. Let's go to race 6. And we have 5 claimers here now, Eric. They're going 6 furlongs. And again, not an easy race. Wade Potts has a couple runners in this spot, and the 2 Dakota Springs was one that I was interested in. It's a 5-year-old mare that he claimed for $5,000 at Philly. Speed try, and if you look, this horse has burned some money recently. Right, 3 straight times as the favorite, 3 straight losses. This horse has been in basically 4 straight barns. Lots of claims on this one. Very popular at the claim box. Needs to finish 6 wins in 27 starts. Again, Rivera shows up on a speed type. So one that, again, we'll see if Potts can get figured out. And then he has Problematica in here also. Now that one gets a drop, was in for 10. That was a voided claim there at Aqueduct on April the 19th. Now, hopefully these two don't hook up. You would think, being from the same barn, that they would not. But this one is capable, I do think, from off the pace also. So I think it's one of those two. But again, a tricky race.
Yeah, I'm with you on Problematica. I prefer that one of the 2 horses from Potts. Just I think facing better horses. I get the drop, get the, it's a significant drop and the layoffs. So it's not a pattern I love, but it's not a great field either. My top pick here is the 6, though. Don't Tell Tamo. I just think this is a field where there's a lot of inconsistency, and this is probably the filly that's the most consistent in this field. Claimed 2 back by Juan Bernardini, came back and ran against Beautiful Bolt and a pretty decent starter allowance race here. You see horses like Unsolved Mystery and Allison Park on the running lines, and those are just significantly better horses than what they're up against. Bernardini's going to put blinkers on this one here. I think maybe sits a little bit closer, maybe not as far back. I think gets a good trip here and gets the job done. Problematic also on the A line. And then maybe a price to think about here, the 3-horse Lady Patrick's, excuse me, moving into Danny Velasquez's barn, coming in from Delaware. There were a few solid efforts from this horse in 2025. And I think the thing that I'm noticing here is it wasn't working a lot sharper in the morning than previously. So maybe just a signal that this horse is going to run a better race in this spot. So 6-5 on the A line, 3 on the B line for me.
Race 7, back to the grass, and race 6 was just a kickoff of that late $3 pick 3. We got the $5 late double in race number 7, Eric. Going 5.5 again here, and these are 16 claimers, 2X types. There's lots of speed again. I was looking for closers, interested in TV Man. The 4 looks to be a closer in a speed race, and eventually sometimes gets his trip. You look at that Meadowlands win back in October from off the pace, and then a nice rally last time at this level. Needs things to set up, but I do think has possibilities. Was on the wire last time, so I know he's 1 for 26, and these are hard horses to take. But in races like this, I'm looking more for scenarios and setups, and I do think that he probably gets one in here. What say you?
Yeah, I thought this race was probably one of the toughest races on the card. Might be one of the toughest races of the weekend at Monmouth. You've got the horse is probably going to take a lot of money as Archimedes, the 7 horse coming in from Mike Maker, and there's some things. This horse was really solid over the winter at the fairgrounds. Was purchased in February for $80,000. So this was originally a $60,000 purchase. Ended up selling for $80,000 after he banked about $90,000. So certainly met the goal of that barn. And now really, since being with Maker hasn't done much at all. No, again, faced tough horses, didn't show up in the Palisades, tried 2 turns at Churchill, and then most recently 6 furlongs at Aqueduct, was second choice in that race and finished last to 6 and $40,000 winners at 2. So I just have no idea what to make of this horse in this spot. Obviously, it's a big drop, certainly has a class edge, but this horse clearly doesn't belong at Saratoga. So, it's also, well, now what? So he shows up here. I'm going to use him, but I definitely have question marks here. I was with you looking for some horse maybe to come from off the pace or out of it, but going with a different New Jersey bred here. I'm going to take Parado on the outside. I think could be a decent price in here. This horse is clearly a better horse on grass. When shows up in a good spot, is capable of running a big race. Actually ran a really strong race in the Joey P last year at going 5 furlongs on this course. Was 5th that day. It was a solid field and was running well in that spot. Just kind of, I think the 5.5 might be a good fit for this one in this spot. Second off the layoff. I don't think, I'm not worried about the last race where I think it was really just specifically just to kind of stretch the legs after coming back from the layoff. I think the horse is going to be a price here. Certainly could be an interesting one to use. And then the other horse I'm going to put on the A line is Capernaum, the 1. Kind of another horse. It's a bit of a wild card going on the turf for the first time, but it's a 4-time winner. And so I do in these like beaten claiming races, anytime you have these 3-year-olds that are multiple winners, I think they're worth paying a little extra attention to. The dam of this one was graded stakes placed on dirt. One time on the turf, was off the board, but it had a bad trip that day. It wasn't like it was a grade 2 race. It didn't run terribly though, so it wasn't like the horse didn't want to be on the grass by any. Sired by Charlatans, getting 17% winners in turf sprints. Is running well enough on synthetic. I think this is a horse that could be worth using on the ticket. So I'm going to try some prices. Go 9-1 on top and then use the 7 underneath.
Yeah, I understand the 1 and the 7. I think both have some signal in this spot. And we talked about Capernaum in the past, and this horse was 3-2 there on June the 27th. I think that was another pod that we did, and he just didn't have it that day after 2 pretty nice wins, pretty easy wins there. So you get a different jockey again on that one. We'll see whenever that one gets to the grass. And Archimedes, I do think it's going to take money again. It looks like a bit of a give up to me. I mean, like you mentioned, they paid 80,000. Obviously has been facing better, but to show up in this spot for this tag, they're probably likely wanting to lose this horse. We'll see. You're going to have to swallow a short price also. We'll see what happens there. Race number 7 on Sunday at Monmouth. Race 8 to finish here, Eric. Finish up all these late sequences, late pick 4 or 5. Everything comes down to race number 8. Maiden 10s, typical Monmouth closer, 6 furlongs on the turts. How are we going to get paid?
I'm on the 5. Why Me Lord in this race? I thought that was a pretty strong race to kind of come from off the pace, get pretty close at this level last time out. They weren't going very fast. It wasn't a great field, but neither is this. Jorge Vargas, great ride to win the Haskell, gets on for the first time. I think second time starter, we'll see a better effort from this one here. And then the other one I'm going to use here is Sky Rush, just kind of another horse, kind of in that same line, a little bit of a give up here. Didn't run at all at the beginning of the meet against a decent field of 25-20 maiden claimers here. Was hammered that day and just didn't show up at all. Given a little bit of time off, takes a deep drop. Again, not a pattern that I love. I just don't see a lot in this race, and I'm not really interested in taking the 0 for 22 maiden here, who was a almost an even money favorite here last time, a little sub even money last time. So I'm going to use the 5 and the 1 in this spot and hope to survive that way.
Yeah, I agree on the 5. I think that would be the main press in this ticket. I don't think I can use Sky Rush. I mean, just torched money. They're in for 10. They paid 100. It's Danny Gargan, 3-5 last time and didn't run a step. Not maybe too bad to be believed. Maybe something wrong happened there, but I don't know that I want this horse in for 10. And the 5's obvious. The 6, all the luck you mentioned, the 0 for 22. But at least this horse is showing up and running competitive races. It's right there every time. It's finally going to find a field that this one can beat. So this might be the one. I think might have to wait another week, but one I probably would want to be alive to in case, and you should be, get enough of a differential between the favorites in this one to make this one worth having, maybe for a penny. Well, Eric, it's been, a fun summer at Monmouth so far. The competitive racing, the contests have been excellent. They've been very well attended. Hopefully we get some good weather this weekend and you get a Sunday buy, basically buy itself here on the network. So hopefully people can take our ideas and make a couple bucks.
Hey, that's the goal, right?
Absolutely. Well, of course, check out Eric's stuff on InTheMoneyPodcast.com for Monmouth. He does great work, lots of great write-ups. He's giving you $60 horses in the Haskell. So you can't beat that. And this has been a production of In the Money Media. Jump into Monmouth on Sunday. Get in on everything else in the middle of the network. We'll see you next time.